these aren't just normal shoes, they're banned from the NBA. And Stephen Curry didn't just wear one banned shoe, he wore two within the same week. Back in 2018, the Golden State Warriors wanted to celebrate Chinese New Year, and to do that, they created special Chinese-themed jerseys. One of the star players, Steph Curry, loved them so much that he decided to make a special pair of shoes called Curry 4s to match the Chinese heritage. Excited about his creation, he wore them to the next game. However, things got complicated because Steph didn't know about the NBA's strict rules for shoes at that time. The NBA had a policy stating that all shoes must match their team's colors and can only display the brand's logos. Steph's shoes didn't follow these rules, causing some controversy. But that wasn't the end of it. In the same week, Steph violated the policy again by announcing a shoe collaboration with former President Barack Obama. Even though Steph performed well in the game that night, scoring 25 points, the NBA informed him that his shoes were banned. To make matters worse, later that year, the NBA lifted the shoe color restriction. If Steph had waited a few more months, his shoes might have been allowed. However, these shoe bans weren't the most extreme in NBA history. Some players faced severe consequences, like losing $200 million or gaining superpowers from their shoes. But before diving into those stories, there's another intriguing ban involving LeBron James. LeBron entered the NBA with a lot of hype, and even before playing his first game, he secured a shoe deal with Nike. While some players respected him and others doubted him, there was one player who outright hated him. This led to one of the strangest shoe bans in NBA history. Unbeknownst to LeBron, he became the target of a silent assassin during one of his early preseason games, Paul Pierce. Throughout Pierce's career, he considered himself the top dog. Seeing the attention LeBron was getting, Pierce envied him. Whenever they faced off, it was a battle for legacy, since only one team could make it through the Eastern Conference. LeBron pushed himself to become the greatest of all time, just to eliminate Pierce as a threat. Many years ago, Paul Pierce faced a mental blow when he joined the Washington Wizards and saw a teammate sporting the shoes of his basketball rival, LeBron James. Upset by this, Pierce made it clear to the entire team that they couldn't wear LeBron's shoes in his presence. Disregarding his warning, the Wizards continued wearing the banned shoes, leading Pierce to play the entire season with those shoes. To their regret, Pierce later left the team for the Los Angeles Clippers, and LeBron admitted that seeing players wear his shoes motivated him to perform better on the court. LeBron said that if an opponent wore his shoes during a game, he would give them a tough time. Despite this drama, at least there were no financial losses from the shoe ban. However, a similar situation arose for James Harden, who signed a $200 million, 13-year deal with Adidas. Excited about the deal, Harden and his then-girlfriend Khloe Kardashian celebrated publicly. Unfortunately, the paparazzi caught Harden wearing shoes from a competing brand, Jordan, which caused a significant uproar. Adidas, not willing to tolerate this, warned Harden that he couldn't wear any other brand's shoes on or off the court if he wanted to keep his $200 million deal. Harden responded with confidence, stating that his style was about to be amazing. While Harden's situation was about breaking a personal contract, Zach LaVine, another NBA player, created a different controversy. LaVine, having signed a shoe deal with Adidas, convinced other NBA players to wear a shoe that the league had banned. This decision turned into a disaster when LaVine planned to debut one of Adidas's new shoes. Out of the blue, one of the top creators for a popular brand, Kanye West, shared that he had been working on something for 3 years. Despite going through over 300 versions, he eventually came up with the perfect idea for a Yeezy basketball shoe. When Kanye posted pictures of the shoes on social media, he also mentioned that players like Zach would wear them in the upcoming season. However, the NBA threw a wrench in the works when league officials noticed something unusual about these shoes. Almost every picture showed these shoes as extremely bright, and the league was concerned about how distracting they might be on the court. So, the Yeezus faced opposition. Players such as John Wall, Donovan Mitchell and Brandon Ingram had informed Adidas that they would wear the shoes. But no one was more disappointed than Zach LaVine. Despite others backing down, Zach was determined. He entered the 2020 All-Star Weekend ready to be a trailblazer. The moment Zach stepped onto the court, he laced up the band Yeezus. That night, during the three-point contest, Zach made history as the first player ever to wear the prohibited Yeezus. This was a significant moment because not only did Zach defy the NBA's rules, but he also stood up for his beliefs, inspiring other players to think about making a change. After witnessing Zach's bold move, Brandon Ingram felt it was his turn. The very next day, during his first NBA All-Star game with all eyes on him, he walked onto the court wearing the Yeezus, becoming the first NBA player ever to wear them in a game. Kanye himself witnessed the event courtside and signed Ingram's shoes in front of everyone. Kanye's smile at that moment was truly special. At this point, Kanye knew it was only a matter of time before his shoes gained global popularity. After the All-Star Weekend, another player, Andre Iguodala, joined the movement. He became the first player to wear the Yeezus in a regular season game, not just once but twice, even debuting a new color scheme. Seeing a revolution taking place, the NBA had no choice but to lift the ban on shoes, marking the league's first ever shoe unbanning. Upon hearing the news, Kanye didn't celebrate. Instead, he decided to collaborate with NBA player Derrick Rose and create an even more extraordinary shoe. However, not all shoes get their own revolution. Karl Anthony Towns experienced this firsthand, as his shoes were banned by Netflix. Ironically, Towns admitted to having a Netflix addiction, watching it every single day. Anyways, there's another thing he really loves watching: Stranger Things. But one night, he stayed up watching it, and the next day he played really poorly. So, he decided to change something. In his next game against the Knicks, Towns scored 23 points, 15 rebounds, and 9 assists. But the big news wasn't that he led his team to a win. It was his special shoes. Before the game, Towns asked a famous shoe designer to make unique kicks that combined his two loves, basketball and Stranger Things. To Towns, these shoes were a masterpiece. But just like Steph Curry's shoes were banned once, Towns faced the same issue because his shoes promoted Netflix and Stranger Things. He couldn't wear his favorite pair again. The NBA really banned Towns' shoes, even though they didn't affect his game. Imagine a basketball shoe banned because it gave players superpowers. Nike and Adidas were the top brands for years, but one company wanted to wipe out the competition. They created the APL Concept ones, basketball shoes with built-in springs that could make a player jump 3 inches higher. The NBA didn't like the advantage these shoes gave, so they banned them. APL could have failed, losing millions without NBA promotion. Instead, they embraced the ban. As soon as the shoes were available, they became popular. APL intentionally designed more banned shoes, like the APL Super Futures and the Concept X. Everyone could see why these shoes got banned. Kyrie Irving's shoes got banned for a weird reason. Since he joined the NBA, people thought he deserved a signature shoe. LeBron James praised him, and Nike offered Kyrie a deal. Kyrie wanted his first shoes, the Kyrie ones, to be special. He took inspiration from LeBron's shoes and added designs representing his life. The shoes had a jagged design symbolizing the Sydney Opera House in Australia, his birthplace. The sole had his mom's name, birthday, and death day. And of course, they included Kyrie's jersey number. Kyrie really thought a lot about these shoes, and he couldn't wait for everyone to see them. He planned to wear his favorite red shoes, called the Deceptive Red Kyrie ones, in a game against the Warriors. During the game, you could easily see his bright red shoes every time he moved. The shoes were exactly what Kyrie wanted, but the NBA didn't like them. After the game, they gave him some bad news. In an interview with Complex, Kyrie shared, "I actually got fined by the league because the shoes weren't our team colors. Nike wasn't happy either, but I was happy because it meant they stood out a lot." It didn't make sense because if you look at the highlights, most players wore black and white shoes, and Kyrie's shoes weren't much different from his jersey colors. So it's unclear what the NBA was thinking. Kyrie loved his shoes, but his situation wasn't as sad as Carmelo Anthony's. The NBA ruined the proudest moment of Melo's career. Throughout his life, Melo released 9 pairs of signature shoes, each representing a milestone in his career. For his 10th anniversary, Melo wanted to create something game-changing. He worked with a legendary shoe designer from the Jordan brand to make his dream come true. Melo wanted to include elements from his previous shoes, like a chrome piece on the back, calling back to his first signature logo. He thought his M10 was a masterpiece and wore different colorways throughout the season, falling in love with the shoes. But then, the NBA crushed his dreams. Fans and players complained that the reflective heel on Melo's shoes was too distracting. The NBA banned the shoes to avoid any risks. Michael Jordan, knowing how much the shoes meant to Melo, had them redesigned with a non-reflective heel. Soon after, Melo was back on the court wearing his favorite pair. This wasn't the first time MJ dealt with a banned shoe. When his shoes got banned, it became a big mystery in NBA history. Without playing a single game, Jordan demanded a signature shoe, and Nike invented the Air Jordans, considering Jordan's high-flying moves. It was a perfect match, but I'm sure neither Jordan nor Nike knew how big of a deal this shoe would become. Nike hoped that within 4 years of Jordan being with their brand, they'd sell at least $3 million worth of these shoes. And they were confident because, at the time, most players in the NBA only wore white or black shoes. So, Nike had a feeling that Jordan's red and black pair had the potential to be groundbreaking. However, the NBA tried to put an end to it before it even started. The league sent Nike a letter banning the shoes and threatened to fine Jordan $5,000 for every game he wore them. Rumor has it that Nike told Jordan to wear them anyway, promising to cover the fines. The craziest part was that Nike and Jordan faked everything. The letter claimed that Jordan wore the banned shoes on October 18, 1984, but during that time, he actually wore a completely different shoe in every game. These were the Nike Airships, similar to the Air Jordans, but with a slightly different look. Because they resembled Jordan's ones, nobody knew the difference. This became one of the most genius marketing scandals in sports history. Nike falsely advertised them as banned shoes, and Jordan wore them to his rookie dunk contest, creating the illusion that he wasn't afraid of any ban. Suddenly, everyone wanted a pair. Air Jordans became the first basketball shoes that were cool to wear off the court, selling out instantly every time Nike released a new colorway. In just 1 year, Nike surpassed their $3 million goal, making a whopping $126 million, all because of a fake ban. Who would have known that shoes would become such a big deal? But they still aren't as crazy as the NBA's banned celebrations, with players throwing up gang signs and engaging in explicit gestures. By the way, if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting content.